Welcome on in, guys. Three bold takes again, and we've already done one video like this. Josh Pate came out with his SEC power rankings. We reacted to that, decided what we liked, what we didn't like about it, and we're doing the same thing today with the Big Ten. Now, I'm going to go ahead and pull the Big Ten rankings up on the screen now for you. As you can see, it is 1 through 18. God, I cannot believe there's 18 teams in the Big Ten. But Quinn, I'm going to pass it off to you first. You seem to have a huge issue with this list, and then we'll just round robin it.
All right, well, I have a handful of issues with this list, and none of it starts with the top four. It's hard to for me, it's hard to disagree with the top four. I mean, you can maybe argue where they're ranked within it, but those are the top four programs of the Big Ten. My issues start with everything after that. So my number one issue is the number five program to me should be the Wisconsin Badgers. They have consistent success in the Big Ten. They've went through a small slump over the past like 4 years or so, but they have an up and coming promising coach in Luke Fickle that I think will eventually turn things around in Madison because they have a deep desire to win there. And
Right.
unlike a team like USC or Washington, who's listed above them on this list, they have familiarity with the conference they're in. It's not a whole new system for them. Secondly, they're below Iowa, which they've just frankly had more success on the same side of the like division or the same side of the conference over the past handful of years as Iowa. So I don't understand why they'd be slotted below them. My next issue comes with Nebraska at 10. I think that's way too much optimism in a turnaround by Matt Rule that I'm not sure. I know I was the big last off season. I was the Matt Rule hater from out of nowhere. I'm not a big believer in this Matt Rule Nebraska project. I'm not a big believer in Nebraska football coming back, frankly. And I'm a big guy for like the history of the sport and all that stuff. But Nebraska's in a situation that I don't know if they're able to recover from, frankly. Next is number 11 being Michigan State. Now, I know they've been in the tank for the last two seasons. I think they should be up where Maryland is, and Maryland should come down. I think there's a way higher ceiling on what the program of Michigan State can achieve than what anyone else grouped with them in 10 through 14 can, or what Maryland can achieve at 9. Um, and then my final issue is give me some love for what we saw out of Northwestern and Rutgers last year. And why are we giving love to Purdue and Minnesota? I think from a program perspective, as far as what they're capable of doing, there's not all that much difference between Northwestern, Rutgers, Purdue, and Minnesota.
Hmm.
So I don't get why you're rewarding the ones that are on a down slope and not the ones that are on an upward trajectory like Rutgers and Northwestern. So those are my gripes with this top 18, and none of them are with the top four. Yeah, that's what you got.
Yeah, so you hit on my number one was Rutgers. I don't know how you say UCLA coming over to the Big Ten is above Rutgers at the current moment, watching both of those teams last year. Rutgers, and I kind of mentioned Rutgers a while back in a different video. Them and Shiano had an amazing year. Shiano inked a new contract. I at least see them around 11, 12, depending on who else you move around. I've got a I don't know. I thought you were going to go the opposite way with Nebraska. I thought you were going to put them up a little bit. I'm
Oh,
going to put them up a little bit. I don't think they go
mm,
far, but I think maybe 9. I think I could see them at 9. They got that huge commit that was committed to Georgia and Dylan Raiola. I think he's going to start day one, and Matt Rule and quarterback, he has a way. So, but my second biggest one was I swear the title says power rankings and not brand rankings. Why in the world is USC at 5? Can't stand it. I hate it. I don't think USC is going to dominate in the Big Ten at all. And to put them on the cusp of the top four is mind-boggling to me. I think USC is going to do well, but I don't think after watching both teams last year in the Pac-12, I don't think Washington should be below USC, even losing their head coach and some of their big name starters to the draft or transfer portal. I think Washington's still going to be a really good team. They're set up for success. USC has shown that they can't recruit on the defensive side of the ball. They just lost offensive firepower in Caleb Williams, and Lincoln Riley has made no adjustments to his staff or to the way he goes about the game to make USC a top 5 contender in the Big 10. I honestly don't see them. I see them in Wisconsin spot. I see them at around 8, because I still think they can do well. But now in the Big 10, you're also saying, hey, why do you want to play at USC when you can come play at Ohio State, come play at Michigan, come play at Penn State, wherever else in the Big 10, and not have to travel as much as USC, do this, do that. And those are good brands alongside of great defensive teams. I don't know. I don't like USC at 5.
Well,
That's Rutgers and USC were my top 2 gripes.
so let me ask you this, because for me, I would move Maryland down to the third pool. I'd
Okay.
bring Michigan State up to 2, and then
Okay.
I'd drop Minnesota and Purdue down to 4, and bring
Okay.
Rutgers and Northwestern up into the third.
Yeah.
So for you, you're gonna keep USC where they're at, just lower down in the tier, right?
Yeah, I don't want to be too disrespectful. Like they're definitely better than the Purdue's and Minnesotas, but I could definitely see Wisconsin and them having the same record. I could see Wisconsin being better this year, potentially. So that's why I have them.
And then you got Nebraska going up, bringing Maryland down.
Yeah, like Maryland, Nebraska swap.
Switch. Okay. And then you've got UCLA dropping to bring Rutgers up.
Yeah, Rutgers
Okay.
and just move everybody else down. Rutgers to probably 12, move everybody else down there for me.
Gotcha.
So, Fred?
Yeah, so you guys hit on a lot of the bigger issues, and Chase, I did want to bring up USC as well. I've been a USC fan, a lover for the past couple of years. Had them in the preseason playoff rankings, I think the 2 years in a row potentially, and last year just absolutely just embarrassed me. So I'm done. I'm done. Until Lincoln Riley can play any sort of defense or I'm talking something better than traffic cones out on the field, then I'll put some respect on the USC name. But at 5, it's ridiculous. Washington's going to have a much better year. Iowa is going to have a better year. Wisconsin is going to have a better year. I would move USC all the way down to 9 as well.
Let me ask you this. I know neither of y'all are fans of the Lincoln Riley tenure, and neither am I. But as far as the team slotted 5 through 9, is it just me or USC has the easiest ability to be a top 4 brand out of any of those teams with the right, like with a competent coach? Because it's going to be pretty easy to like recruit people out to play in Southern California. That's not going to be hard to do. It's not hard for professional teams as
I mean, I
far
think
as you
it's
meet the
quite
money.
possible, but like if they haven't proved it before, I don't see a lot of players taking a chance, right? Especially on the defensive side, right? Like, yeah, you could go play for USC and be in the sun, right? But if you want to go pro and be, top 10 pick, you don't go to USC and play defense. You go to Ohio State, you go to Michigan, you go to Penn State, like you go to these other schools, even Wisconsin, and that's how you make it pro. So until USC can do anything on the defensive side, I don't see that happening, Chase.
I'll say this. I think Iowa has a better shot at being a top 4 team at the end of the year over USC.
I
This is
agree.
like,
It's crazy,
well,
but Iowa was in the conference championship last year, and that's mainly due to the alignment, which isn't there anymore. But Iowa could still win 9, 10 games, and I'm having trouble seeing USC win more than 8.
well, correct me if I'm wrong though. It's based more on like program ranking than it is necessarily season to season, right?
True.
So like
Yeah. Yeah.
that's what I meant when I said like the brand of USC would have a much easier time breaking into the top 4 with a good
Okay.
coach than any of those other teams.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because he does this based off like facilities, the record.
History,
Yeah. Okay.
prestige,
Okay. Okay.
record, all that stuff.
Yeah.
But for the sake of this argument, that's not a power ranking. A power ranking is 1 will beat 2, 2 will beat 3, 3 will beat 4, 4 will beat 5, so on and so forth. That's what a traditional power ranking is. So that's kind of what I'm thinking of it as. Now, I do have a problem with the top 4, and it's not the teams that's in the top 4. It's the order of the top 4. Now, again, after what I just said, that's my thinking, not brand recognition, facilities, all that stuff. Michigan should not be number 2 heading into next year. They have lost way, way too much. That team last year was very old, a bunch of seniors that really rallied together. They're gone. Your head coach is gone. There's just so much that has lost, especially on the defensive side of the ball. Michigan's lost a ton. And Oregon has too, right? I mean, Bo Nix is gone. Like, he was a huge success there. So for me, my top 4, this may be a very controversial. Ohio State 1. And again, this is power rankings. Who will beat who, can beat who, can beat who. Ohio State 1, Penn State 2, Oregon 3, and Michigan 4. That's my top 4 in a traditional power ranking.
Guys, we're actually canceling the channel now. We're no longer going to be doing this.
Switch Oregon and Penn State, and I agree with you.
I would respect it more there. Penn
Okay,
State
so Ohio State, Oregon, Penn State, Michigan.
I just think it's like you said, Michigan's lost so much. I don't think that they can't rebuild. I just have to see it. Like,
coaches, assistants, everything. That's kind of
it's you're a brand new team.
Yeah.
Completely brand new.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so that's what I would do. Like I said, it was going to be controversial, but it is what it is. Plus, hey, my Penn State Nittany Lions, they only have to play one of the big 2 this upcoming year. So, guys, leave a like for that, or comment. We're idiots. Either or will work. But subscribe if you're new. Share to your friends. Let's have a conversation going in the comments. Videos every week. It's been Freddie, Chase, and Quinn from 3 Bold Takes, and we're out.